I can honestly say that I've tried just about every approach to each of these issues that I'm capable of. And there have been times when I've had a lengthy discussion with somebody in email, for example, where we've been going and going and going and going, and now we're clear that we're getting nowhere, and the conversation's getting heated. And I said, and I've said, okay, hang on, let's just stop. Let's just go back to the beginning. Here's what you said. And almost without fail, they're surprised by what they said at the beginning, because they've moved a little in their position. And what I'll get when we do the let's go back to the beginning and look at this, what I'll get in response most of the time is, well, what I meant was, that's fine. I've had to do that too. We all have. And in some ways, it's a little bit of a defense mechanism, but it does let you get past the point of talking past each other on that issue, maybe.
I find that the Bible is, like, they do that about the Bible a lot. They're like, oh, well, the Bible actually meant to say this. But it didn't.
Oh, well, that's slightly different. That's them claiming insight.
Yeah, so the Bible is the inerrant word of God, except when it isn't.
Yeah. I feel as though whether a child is too young or whether or not it is the right decision, I feel as though whenever that person is defecting from whatever it is that they were raised with, they're automatically making a decision based on thinking for themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what this individual happens to believe specifically. I don't know if she was perhaps, I don't even know if she was a Christian, or if she was defending anything like that. But if you came across this argument from somebody who was, for example, a fundamentalist Christian, just to pick the one that's easiest to respond to, then what you're doing is you just look at them and say, wait a minute, you believe that there's a God who, if I die right now, is going to reward me or punish me based on what I believe, and yet you're convinced that I'm not old enough to really know what I believe.
Yeah. But if it's raining me tomorrow,
Yeah.
I find that asking questions is the best thing in the world, first of all.
Yeah.
But
pin them down.
Rephrasing the question in the light of the consequences of their belief. It's the number of times people have there's a Muslim who has traded a couple of emails back and forth with me this week, who's trying to argue that there's this prophecy about a full moon at the start of Ramadan, or on the first possible day of full moons in Ramadan, and then a solar eclipse at this other one would specifically foretell, this event. And I don't know. He's built all this up, and I said, wait a minute, even if I agreed that everything you said is correct, that somewhere around 800 AD, somebody predicted a month that would contain a lunar and solar eclipse, so what?
Yeah,
I mean, first of all,
nuts.
And how many failed prophecies have they gone through before that one worked?
Well, no, they were saying that this is something that will occur, and when this occurs, this will happen. And he's saying that this has happened there. But what I'm saying is that, let's say that there was a guy who in 800 CE said, on Sunday afternoon in the year 2009, a bald man with flames on his shirt will talk about prophecy in Austin. That's an impressive prediction. It's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be dead on accurate. It doesn't have to give gross details. But if that prophecy existed and somebody presented it, we'd say, seems to me like somebody prophesied this and it came true. And my response to that is still, okay, how did they do it? You cannot get from they predicted the future to they predicted the future because
God.
What? Did they get lucky? Did they travel back in time? Was there a God who did it? Do they have some mental ability that allows them to foresee the future? You cannot get to what caused the event strictly from the event alone. There's a reason why science focuses on that which can be tested and repeated, and why prophecy tends to fail by and large as a convincer, because somebody said something a long time ago, and usually we've interpreted that this has happened, or somebody has been actively working for 1,000 years to make it happen, which is as stupid as saying that when the waiter brings me what I ordered, he's fulfilling prophecy. if you've got people actively working to make something come true, I mean, that's not an impressive prophetic.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy is what it
But
is.
you cannot get from this happened to this is the cause of that without any extra information. You've got to come up with extra information, which is why I told him, okay, even if you had 20 prophecies this guy did, so what? I mean, it's impressive, it's nifty, it's cool, but you can't get from there to Allah, blessed be his name, is the one who told him what was going to happen in the future. You just can't do it. You have to provide more information. And in the case of most historic claims, we're incapable of investigating them properly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, Zachary.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot.
your
Yeah,
call.
you did.
Good luck.
We've been told by the control room that now the people watching the stream aren't going to be able to hear this, so too bad, but you can download the podcast version when it's ready, and then you'll hear it. Stream got killed by a virus. These viruses that are floating all around the Access Studio computers are...
We're not exactly sure how and where this came from, but it's messing up a lot of stuff. Luckily, the show seemed to be working. The calls seem to be working. Thanks to Daniel again for our new lower third, which saves us some graphic space because way over there it actually says the atheist experience, so we don't have to put the name of the show across. It's all fancy and HD and pretty. But so this may be the last caller that I actually know who's on the line, but it should be Ryan from Boulder.
Yes, this is me.
How you doing, Ryan?
Good. How are you guys?
All right.
Not bad.
I've been listening only for a couple weeks now. I found this.
What was wrong with you before?
On YouTube. What was that?
I said, what was wrong with you before?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
All right.
But I want to touch on what that last caller was saying before I go on with my original point.
Mm-hmm.
That whole mentality of like owning what a child or indoctrinate that just frightens me so severely. I grew up in a household where religion, that was just kept away from me, and of course I was introduced to it. We talked about Santa, of course, but and eventually I found out that was a lie.
What?
But
sorry. I'll shut up and let you finish.
Thing I meant to say.
I apologize. Go ahead.
No, that's great. But I never really grew up in a household where that was forced on me, and for about 3 years of my life, I actually lived in Colleyville, Texas. So I was surrounded by a lot of Christian influence at one point, and it was a really susceptible point in my life too, when I was like 7 or 8, and I had even gone to some of the youth camps or whatever. But even then, there was never any hint of Christianity being or God being real. It was never there, and I always look back on it. I was talking to my mom a few years ago, and she says, I kind of wish that I had raised you, religious and to believe in God. And I said, yeah, but isn't it funny that you didn't? And with none of that indoctrination, I came to an opinion on my own. But I'm just very thankful that I grew up in an environment that was very free of that.
Well, maybe she's saying that she wishes she had, so that you would have come to a different opinion.
Yeah, that is what she said. But she said that there was a lot of emotions going on in there.
Well, there's some serious concern. I have plenty of family who are religious. I love them; they love me. We disagree on some things. But there's a difference in while I may think that their particular views about a God or an afterlife or any of this other stuff is incorrect, unsupported by evidence, and even delusional in some cases. To them, it's different. Their concern isn't with reality or the here and now. It's about what's going to happen to me after I'm dead. And that's they bought into this idea, so their focus is in a different place.